I remember going in the studio and knowing, okay, once again, we've got half this record from the live stuff. And it was good to kind of be able to do some things that, for that record, like we did Creed, which wasn't a song that we wrote. And I think a couple of other,
You Are So Good.
yeah, You Are So Good to Me, which we didn't write. So it was like finding these songs that we loved and being able to put our own spin on it. And we had not done that much before. Usually we're recording our own songs. So to kind of take some other people's songs that we liked, do our version of it, that was different for us.
We had been listening to Bruce Springsteen. He had put out The Rising just previous to that, and that was right after 9/11. And that album, The Rising, meant a lot. I know it meant a lot to us, and I think we were excited to try to emulate a little bit of what we heard on that album. And so sing a song and You Are So Good to Me, you might not hear them and go, oh, it sounds like Springsteen, but I remember us being in that headspace and trying to think in those terms a little bit. And it was I also remember getting mixes back on that album and feeling like this is the best we've ever sounded. Just some of the, that was Richard Dodd, first time we worked with him. And some of the tracks just sounding, I don't know, it was cool because it was Offerings too, but you could have named it anything else and it would have stood on its own as being, it didn't sound like just the continuation of Offerings. It felt like a unique record.
So back in '96, our first record comes out, and we're invited to go to GMA Week, Gospel Music Association Week, and they were having a big event for Rich Mullins. It was his greatest hits record was coming out. It was called Songs. And so they'd asked us to play a song, so we wanted to do Creed. We loved that song, and so we worked on it for a little bit and kind of put a rock spin on Creed. And I remember us playing it, and Rich is right on the front row, and we go backstage, and we literally, all of us were crying because it was such an emotional thing for us to be there with him, where our music's getting out there and all this stuff, and it was a cool thing for us. And then we got to talk to him later on, and we talked to Don Donahue, who was a friend of ours, who was his A&R guy, and he said that Rich at that moment finally realized how his music was affecting other artists, and so was kind of preparing the next generation of artists. And so it was a cool thing for us. And then later on we got to know Rich and do some concerts with him and have him be on our record. And I don't know, it was a really special thing for us.
Yeah, and we, for several months after that summer we would share the stage with Rich at a lot of festivals, and every time whether we're playing on the main stage or the side stage or whatever, if we invited Rich to play on that song with us, he would jump up, he would do it every time. We had just some great moments to be able to hang out with Rich over the next year or so, and then we lost him, and it was just such a sad thing, but he's got just such a great legacy of music, and we're just so happy that we're able to be one of the torchbearers for Rich and record this song and put it out and to see it take on a life of its own, and we just feel really honored to have been able to do that.